Welcome to the TBH Business Mastermind. And I've got somebody very special with us today, a lady who always wants to give back to her community. And that's Rowena. Rowena, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
So, I'm a musician, author, entrepreneur, and serial business owner from
Excellent.
Huddersfield, West Yorkshire.
And how did you end up being all of those things? Tell us a little bit about your journey to them, please.
So, as a child, I showed a lot of aptitude for music. I started learning classical piano and violin when I was like 3 years old. But then when I got older, I decided I wanted to do my own thing, so I did popular music instead. I was inspired very much by the music of the 90s. Then I went on to university, did a bachelor's in music tech and then a master's in music production, and now I'm studying for a PhD in artificial intelligence music. But along the way, I got interested in business. Back in when I was doing my BA, I started a business with a friend in Guernsey. That was a music related business. I've been on the Innovative Entrepreneurs Accelerator program, and I've always been interested in making my own money and being a self-made person. I was always great at English, so I started writing poetry and things like that, very creative. And then I wrote my first book about 7 years ago, and recently I've published a music theory book, which is going to be out in the new year.
Rowena, we're only on here for 15 minutes. I think we need to book a longer session. So which university did you go to?
I went to Huddersfield for my bachelor's, and then I did Leeds Beckett for my master's, and I'm doing Leeds Beckett again for my PhD.
And what's your PhD in?
Artificial intelligence music versus human generated music.
Goodness me. I didn't even know that was a thing.
It is now.
Wow. And you've written a book. What was the book called?
The book is called An Introduction to Music Theory. That's the one that's been published by a publisher, and that's going to be out in the new year. It's basically a how-to guide for anybody starting out in music production. My previous book was called Misunderstood, and it's basically a biography.
Biography. What lessons were in that biography for yourself and for people who would read it?
Well, no matter what you go through, there's always a way to progress. I've been through an awful lot of stuff, trauma and stuff in my life. I've got autism and ADHD, so I've always found it difficult at school. I got bullied relentlessly. But I'm a self-made person. I've taught myself so many different things. Like recently, I taught myself how to code Android and Apple apps so that I could build Beatify myself. I taught myself in one day how to code an Android and Apple app. And in 3 months, I built Beatify, and Beatify is now almost ready to go to market.
Tell us what Beatify is, because our listeners won't know what.
Beatify Studio is kind of a music creation app for dummies. So it's designed for kids and people who are just starting off, who don't want the complexity of a traditional music creation tool like Fruity Loops or GarageBand, because they can be a bit overly complex for somebody who's just starting. So this is an ultra simplified version which allows you to make a full track, up to 5 minutes long, using our exclusive sample library, plus recordings you can make yourself on your phone or your tablet or whatever you want to do. And that's basically what Beatify does.
So it's an introduction to making your own soundtracks. Can you add voice
Yeah.
to it?
Yes, you can add voice, you can add rap, you can add vocals, you can add effects. There's a whole suite of effects in there. You can put it alongside the samples, create a full track in various different genres, and come away with a completely unique piece of music.
And it's called Beatify.
Yes.
Great name.
Mm.
So how long are we before we can download it on the App Store, or are you going to share it separately?
Well, it'll be on the app stores. I envisage 6 months because we need to test it. We need to upload the sample library. We need to work on refining certain parts of it. But I think 6 months should be long enough before it comes to market. I have a business partner in Guernsey who I mentioned before, who is a multi-millionaire businessman, and he's going to assist me with the financial side of things.
So you're obviously on a journey to be a successful entrepreneur. What's the lessons you've learned so far on this journey?
Well, the Innovative Entrepreneurs Accelerator program definitely opened my eyes to all the things that can go wrong in a business. And when I was doing Zarnia.com back in 2009, it was a bit of a steep learning curve. I learned that if you don't market something correctly, then it can fail, and that's exactly what happened to ours. So that's what I've learned. I've learned the pitfalls and how to potentially avoid them in the future. So I think I'm in a better place now to do something new.
So I can hear from what your stories you're telling, you've got a lot of resilience, and I guess that came from those tough years at school. Children be so cruel. So
Yeah,
how do you manage to pick yourself up when somebody's hitting you down? What's your secret to getting up and going again?
I don't know really. I mean, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I think faith has a part of it for me. But I've always had good support from my husband, particularly, and my friends. And whenever things go badly wrong for me, I always have somebody to rely on who can say, look, come on, it's all right, it'll be all right, and you can progress from here. And, I've always had people cheering in my corner. And I think that is so important. I don't, unfortunately, have the support of my parents. We have a very difficult relationship. We always have had.
Sorry to
But
hear that.
but I keep in touch with them and we talk and stuff. But it's always been really difficult because I was such a difficult child with my autism and my ADHD, and that's sort of stuck in their minds, and they've never really got over it.
So obviously you talk about your autism, you talk about your ADHD. Back in the day, was it obviously less understood?
Definitely, I wasn't diagnosed till I was 41.
Okay, goodness me. How did you feel when you were diagnosed? What did that say to you?
It was amazing, actually. It was like such a relief because it was something that I knew in my heart that it was. But I'd
Mm.
been told my whole life I had a mental illness and I'd been given medication from the age of 13. And it wasn't that at all. And I've been medicated incorrectly for like 30 odd years.
Wow.
And it turns out that it was autism and ADHD, and all my problems stem from that. So it was like magic because now the mental health team don't want anything to do with me because they say, well, you haven't got a mental illness. So I've been released from that stigma, and I can actually finally be me and not worry about what people think when they think you've got a mental illness. They think you've got a label and they think, Christ, who is this person? And actually, it's quite damaging. But
I should imagine.
I found that liberation in the diagnosis.
Brilliant. So you've got so much going on, and then you've got AI massively in your world. Where do you see the future for yourself and the future for business?
Well, I'm sincerely hoping that somebody somewhere gets some sense and passes some laws that say you can't copyright AI content because as long as AI is in taking over the creative section of industries and things, as long as AI can do things better than humans, which it can, it's going to ruin it for the people who love creating. It's going to ruin it for the creators. And I strongly feel like AI should be regulated because there's always going to, as far as I'm concerned, there's always going to be a place for creative people and they should be
Hmm.
celebrated and they should have freedom to produce their creative output and put it out there and have people pay for that privilege and make some money out of it rather than AI taking over the whole of authoring, music, film. Because if that happens, then it's the death of creative industries. And for me, that would be like my worst nightmare because I love making music. And I couldn't do it anymore because AI was doing better, I'd be devastated because it's therapy for me. The future of Beatify, I see it coming out as an app. Potentially in the future, it might have an AI assistant attached to it if I can work out how to code that. But I would never have AI as the forefront, only as a collaborative tool to assist, because I don't believe AI should be in charge. I really don't think that's the future.
So, do you see AI as a threat, or do you see it as a blessing?
As a collaborative tool, it can be a blessing because it's helped me with my coding. When I've made a mistake in the code, I've copied and pasted it into AI, and it's told me where I've gone wrong. As a collaborative tool, AI is amazing. It's like the best thing ever. But if AI becomes the only choice, I think it's a threat.
That's interesting. Well, you're positioning yourself well. You know, you're studying a PhD in it, so people are going to listen to you, aren't you, when they speak?
I'm hoping to get an interview with Paul McCartney or Elton John about during my PhD, because I actually know somebody who knows their agents, and I'm hoping I can get an interview because they're hot on this AI topic, and it would be just amazing to interview them and talk to them about what they think about AI music, because they've been very vocal about it.
What would you ask them?
Probably questions around. I've written like a list of 30 questions that I'm going to put out as like a Google Doc, which I'm going to garner a load of results from. I'd probably go through that and ask them questions about, do they think AI music is better than human generated music? Do they think that it can produce lyrics as well? Do they think it can produce emotion as well? That kind of thing.
You're not going to be starstruck when you sat in front of Elton and Paul, are you?
I've met David Bowie, so no.
Wow. Was he good to meet?
I was in a studio in Sheffield and I was 16 years old and I was recording my first demo with my band, and he was there doing a mastering session, and he literally walked out into the waiting area and I was like, oh, that's David Bowie. And I said, hello, David, how are you doing? And it was really casual. He was a really great guy, yeah.
Yeah. So, what type of music do you like? What are you into?
Electronic music with a 90s vibe.
So you're
Like
definitely
Massive Attack, Sash, trance of the early 2000s, like Paul Oakenfold, that kind of thing. Bit of techno, bit of dubstep, like Illenium. I like Illenium a lot. He's one of my favourite artists, that kind of thing. That's what I listen to mostly. Although I do have a deep love for Alanis Morissette, because that was the first ever album I got, and I listened to it non-stop for like a couple of years.
So you're definitely a '90s child.
I am, yeah, without a doubt.
Have you got back into vinyls, or I mean, there weren't vinyls in them days. There were CDs and MP3s, weren't they?
There were CDs and cassette tapes. A lot of my initial singles and like compilations that I bought were on cassette. But I have a collection of vinyl. That is one of my special interests, and I collect vinyl. And I recently acquired a Beatles album I'd been looking for ages, the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band, which is quite a rare vinyl and it's a first pressing. I collect rare vinyl and I keep them all in flight cases and I look after them. I do play them occasionally, but not very often. And so that's a little hobby of mine. It's going around car boot sales collecting little vinyl records, singles and albums.
Yeah. There's a great shop in Huddersfield, isn't there, called Vinyl Tap. Have you been in there?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have been in there. Yes.
It's a great. It's just a fantastic place to be in. Never mind if you don't buy anything. It's
Yeah.
just a great place to be in. It's amazing. If
Yeah.
anybody's around the Huddersfield area, it's just across from the station. It's worth the trip.
Definitely, and if you like vinyl, you'll find something you're going to love in there.
Absolutely. So, Rowena, I always like to just have a little break in the middle of our podcast. I'm going to ask you some gentle questions now. So,
Okay.
instant answers, don't overthink it.
All
So,
right.
if you were a colour, what would you be?
Blue.
Blue. And What's your favourite food? Indian, Chinese, Thai?
Probably Indian.
Do you have a favourite Indian you go to, or a takeaway?
I like Nawab in Huddersfield.
Oh yeah,
So I would say there and tikka masala every time.
thank you. Cats or dogs?
Cats, I've got two, and they're mad.
Beer or wine?
Wine,
What colour?
red,
Red. Summer holiday or winter holiday?
summer holiday,
Where would you go if you could be there in an instant?
Benidorm.
Benidorm.
Mm.
1,200 bars.
Mm.
You'd never get bored there, would you?
No.
No. And then the final question: has anybody particularly inspired you?
Elon Musk.
Wow.
Because he went from zero to the richest man in the world in the space of no time at all, and the stuff he's doing and the stuff he says just resonates with me. And he's also neurodiverse as well. So when I hear like little snippets of his story and where he came from, I just feel like amazed, and I just think, yeah, it'd be nice to be like Elon.
I don't have a Tesla, but I have bought myself a Starlink, and I am in awe of it.
Incredible, just
Mm,
incredible what he's doing.
yeah, so that's the thing. So, Rowena, thank you for being with us today. You've been a great guest. Beatify's on its way. Will you keep us updated? Will you come back on and let us know how it's going?
Absolutely, anytime.
You've been a brilliant guest. So, thank you, Rowena, for being a great guest today. And I look forward to speaking to you in the future.
All right, thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you.